Hello, everybody. Welcome to Teen Enlightenment with Portia,
And Riley,
but sadly not Blakely.
she's busy this weekend.
Yeah. But this won't be an every
It's not
other
gonna be
week.
regular.
Yeah. So, yeah. What are you drinking, Riley?
Today I'm drinking white chocolate tea.
Wow.
It's very scrumptious.
And I am drinking green tea because I'm just cultured like that. And my green tea tastes absolutely amazing. I love it. So, my topic for today, since we're trying something new, will be about how white privilege is real and does exist. Because some white kids in my class the other day wanted to say that white privilege does not exist when we all know for a fact that it does. So, I'll bring up a few points that I have gotten from Yes Magazine.
And today I'm going to be talking about Texas lifting up the mask mandate, which is really dumb, especially during spring break where a lot of people are going to be traveling.
So, let me start out with my topic. So, whenever you think of white privilege, what do you just straight up think of? What's your definition?
White people being treated differently from black people. No, black people being treated differently from white people.
Yeah, that's a general meaning.
Mhm.
Well, proving that white privilege exists, you kind of see white people just being able to get away with a lot with police. Like, whenever you get pulled over by a police, what do you think?
Well, because I'm not necessarily allowed to drive, I panic.
Yeah.
But let's say I do have my driver's license.
Yes.
I don't really think I just think about what they might be pulling me over for.
Yeah. You would probably just think, oh, hey, it's just a cop pulling me over because one of my headlights are out, or maybe, I'm doing something wrong. My seatbelt isn't on. Who knows? Instead of being a black person who's really thinking, oh, what if there's something that I'm doing wrong? What if they think I'm smoking weed? What if they think I'm just not it because I'm black?
Yeah.
And, you start to think, I'm going to get shot because I'm black. And that's really not okay. Because, that shouldn't be your thought process because you're black. Like, why would you ever have to think, hey, I might get shot because of my color?
Yeah. Me and somebody else were talking or having a discussion on police officers and stuff, and they brought up the fact that only 40% of police officers are bad apples. But the thing is that's almost half the police force. It's not supposed to be none of them are supposed to be bad. Like, that's not...
It's not okay to have bad apples when you're a cop.
Yeah.
Because cops are supposed to protect us.
Yeah.
Why are there cops that are bad when they're supposed to be good in protecting us?
Yes.
So, I made sure to get my statistics right from a website called Statista. I don't know. I'm sorry. And in 2020, there were 226 black people who were shot and killed by police. Having black people shot and killed at all is not okay.
Yeah. Anybody shot and killed.
Yeah. Because police aren't supposed to shoot and kill. No matter if they did murder or something, or if they did something small like forgery.
Yeah.
George Floyd.
Yeah. Like, I've seen so many times in news where police officers treated like murderers like with respect, like they give them water
and stuff like that.
Yeah, like they gave them bottles of water, they tied them up, or not tied them up,
handcuffed them.
Yeah, handcuffed them and put them in the back seat. It's just like peacefully. Like, I don't understand. And a lot of times people use the excuse, oh, well, they should have followed or listened to the police officers.
Well,
but
they did.
Yeah, here's, like, let's say they do, like, run or whatever.
They're scared.
Tase them. You don't have to shoot them. There's so many things you can do besides shooting and killing them.
But the thing is, mainly, if you run from the police, it's either because you're scared, because why are the police even trying to get to you? If you feel you didn't do something wrong, I know you shouldn't run, but the only reason you would run is because you're scared.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the police are going to do to you. So, like, you would of course run, But you can tase people. You don't have to pull out your gun and shoot.
It seems like the gun would be the last result situation. Like, if they put a gun to you and it's for self-defense. I don't understand.
And a lot of times they kind of try to blame, oh, but I was defending myself, but the person didn't have anything. They were unarmed.
Yeah, that's happened so many times. I remember growing up, like, even that one kid, I can't remember his name, he was playing with a plastic gun.
Yeah.
You can't confuse a plastic gun for a real one. That's just dumb.
Yeah. So, privilege with police really does exist. And those 2 students who said that white privilege doesn't exist
are wrong.
Maybe you should listen to this and, think about that.
Yeah.
Another thing about white privilege is school authorities. I've noticed growing up that there actually is white privilege with schools because growing up I didn't think about myself as different from all of my other friends because the fact that I went to an all-white school practically. It was a good majority white students. And it was kind of, I didn't think I was black because I was like, oh, I don't see myself as different. But every time, whenever I got in trouble, I was the only one who had the worst punishments, and I never understood why until now. It as a kid, it kind of confused me why I was getting in the most trouble whenever I didn't do anything just as bad as everybody else.
Yeah, I kind of went in the opposite kind of thing. Like, I was in a mostly black school, but I don't really remember much happening. I never got in trouble because I'm such a good kid. But
yeah, even now in high school I still get in trouble with school authorities, mainly the APs. That because of my dress code or something, because as a black person I have a very different body shape. And I get in trouble for wearing skirts that are too short.
I've been in the situation where I have been treated better because I'm white. Like, I remember it was like the first couple weeks we went back to school from being online, and we were talking about our grades with our teacher, and she called me up and she was like, okay, like really sweet, hey, Riley, I just needed to tell you that you need to like work on your tests more, there's a couple that you haven't done, but it's okay, I'll just like tell your parents, yada yada yada. She was just being very polite to me. But then another kid came up, and he was a person of color, and then she was like full on fussing at him, like, you need to do your test, you've only done 3 out of 4 of them, okay? And then he was like, well, I'm sorry, I'm trying, I've been busy, yada yada yada. And she was just being, that's not an excuse, you need to get your work done. Like, very different. And somebody asked me, well, how does the kid act? It was the first couple weeks of school, he couldn't have done anything if he wanted to. Like, he acted like me, we were all quiet, none of us knew each other,
A few students actually talk about your math teacher in my class, saying that she is pretty racist, actually, and that's not surprising to me, because she is an old white lady.
Yeah, a lot of older people are racist because of the way that they grew up.
Yeah. So, moving on to the next fact, education, which is also just kind of going into what we were talking about. But if you've ever noticed, colored students don't really get as much of a, like, grand education as white students,
Yeah.
And I've noticed it a lot because even though I passed a lot of my classes, I didn't get to be in like all of the classes where the students or like, we actually got to be, like learning stuff constantly. Like, I didn't get to learn everything like everybody else did. And a lot of times my teachers would end up like getting hurt or something, or they'd leave or something, and I didn't have a teacher for a long time, so I didn't learn a lot. Or like a lot of times teachers would think I'm disadvantaged or something because, just 'cause. And it was just kind of,
I've only had that kind of situation once where a teacher didn't, like, they weren't there or something happened to them, so they didn't show up to school for a period of time, and you were also in that class.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was in like 7th grade, I think, maybe?
For sure, yeah.
It's our English teacher. So, yeah.
Yeah. Education, yeah. And I mean, we're learning about this stuff in history right now, actually. Brown v. Board Education, where they said, hey, it's not right to segregate schools because not everybody's getting the same type of education. And so they desegregated schools. But it's still not helping. Like,
Yeah.
even now.
It's definitely not as bad as it used to be,
Of
but
course.
there's still disadvantages for people of color that, oftentimes people of color don't have the privilege of having, I don't know how to word it, like a lot of money. So they have to go to less costly schools that have less, or not as good education, teachers, whatever.
Yeah. I know for a fact my mom, she really wants me to get scholarships, for the college I want to go to, because Texas A&M is not a cheap school.
Yeah.
Not at all. And I understand, and I really try to work hard. Like, that's why I constantly am trying my best to get my work done, trying my best to do my work very well, trying to do stuff that will get me scholarships or will actually allow me to, do well in school and get to Texas A&M. But sometimes it's just like, why can't I just have money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Money's important.
Money's very important. The world runs on money. It's unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on into education one more time. A lot of times you learn only about white people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many times a day do you learn about, like, black people?
Yeah. That's the one thing I don't like about Black History Month is that we only learn about what black people have done in history in 1 month. And it's, as you mentioned, one of the shortest months in the year. Like, that's just unfair.
It's very unfair because, I mean, we talk about black history like it started out with slavery, when it did not. Because we all know for a fact black people weren't always slaves.
Yeah.
So why do we start teaching with black people, or black people being slaves? Like, that's just helping the fact that, oh yeah, here's also white people in history.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't start out with slavery, so why do we start it there?
Yeah.
And why do we have to, like, if we're talking about, say, U.S. history, why are we talking about such, like, why would we talk about, slaves are the beginning of everything? Why don't we talk about the fact that, like, Native Americans were the first ones? And why don't we do more about that?
Yeah.
Like,
it's just whack.
Yeah. It's really unfair to not even, like, be a race and not even know a lot about your own race.
Yeah.
But, like, having white privilege allows you to constantly learn about your own race. And therefore, it's kind of like, oh, okay. I know all about, say, all the presidents who were white and all of these other white people who did stuff for America, and all these other white people who were outside of America, but I don't know a lot about other black people outside of America.
Our history teacher, we have the same one. He's the first history teacher I've had that talked about what black people have done outside of Black History Month.
Yes.
Like, I didn't know that black people fought in wars, flying airplanes. I can't remember what they were called.
The Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah, like, I didn't know about that. I don't think any of us knew about that because they never teach about that. Yeah.
I'm very glad we have a Black history teacher who actually decides, I'm not going to teach only in Black History Month. I'm going to teach I'm going to teach Black history outside of Black History Month too. So yeah, that's really great about history. But white privilege is just kind of built into education as well.
Yeah.
Stereotypes. What are a few stereotypes you've heard about any race, actually?
Oh, what do I pick from? Since we're talking about black people, that all black people have big lips and big noses, that's not true.
Yeah. I don't have big lips.
I mean, it's more likely for black people to have, like, thicker lips and stuff.
Yeah,
but, like,
because that's just genetic.
It's not all black people.
Yeah.
Oh, also being loud. Yeah,
I'm a very quiet black person.
Yeah. Talking ghetto.
I hate the fact that some, like, okay, I understand not everybody can just, like, just get out of, like, being ghetto, I guess.
Yeah.
But I also hate it whenever, like, some people just, like, contain themselves to be ghetto. Like, me, myself, I'm, I grow up, I'm the least, like, in, like,
a decent neighborhood.
Yeah. Like, I'm the least troubled black person you probably meet. Maybe not, but still.
Like, Oprah has it well.
Yeah, not wrong. But, like, me, myself, I'm not gonna be ghetto. I hate, like, thinking about, people just being ghetto because they grew up that way. But like, my mom, she grew up in the ghetto.
I grew up in the ghetto.
Yeah, and neither of y'all are, like, acting all ghetto, acting like you have to be ghetto.
Yeah.
Because you don't. Like, even though you grew up that way, you don't have to be that way.
I think the main reason why I didn't come out more ghetto or whatever is because I didn't really hang out with a lot of the kids in my neighborhood because I wasn't allowed to. It was kind of dangerous to walk down the street, Yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah, very understandable. But, yeah. I mean, like, the stereotype I usually hear about for black people is that whenever black people get mad, they're violent.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the case for everyone.
Ooh, sorry for interrupting you, but the fact that people don't realize that people of color also go through mental illnesses.
Oh, yeah.
What? Scissors?
There should be on the counter. Sorry, we got distracted. Continue.
Like, I don't actually see this happening, obviously, because I'm not black, but I remember seeing videos online of people making videos for their parents being like, mental illness isn't a white people thing or whatever.
Really
Everybody
isn't.
experiences it, It's not limited. It doesn't care who you are or where you're from. Mental illness affects everybody,
Yeah, and as someone with mental issues, mental health problems, as a black person, I can say, black people do have mental illnesses, and like, it's not like, oh yeah, black people can just tough it out. Not every black person can tough out a mental illness. It's not like that. You can't tough out a mental illness.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And another thing, kind of, is a lot of people are like praising black women for being strong and black, and that's a good thing, but it's also okay to not be strong all the time. You're human. You're not perfect. It's just, you're gonna go through stuff. You're gonna have bad days and good days.
Yeah. I grew up with being told, you can't cry, like, that'll show that you're not tough. You can't do this, it'll be like you're not tough. Like, I grew up having to be strong because, if I looked weak, then I would be weak. But that felt unfair. Yeah. And I now realize it's okay to sometimes be weak and vulnerable.
Yeah.
I
think mental illness makes you tougher at times.
Mental illness does make you tougher.
At least in the long run. That's why I'm so strong.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to, burden stuff on your own. And that's what makes you stronger, is the fact that you actually were able to...
stronger, standing a little tall. Sorry.
It's okay. Anyway, yeah. So that's for stereotypes. So, what about, white people? I don't see color. Those white people
don't understand.
Yeah. I believe there's color. And that doesn't excuse the fact that there also was racism, and there still is racism.
Yeah. I think people should celebrate their color.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't be, oh, everybody's just everybody. You don't have to look at, no, you celebrate who you are,
Like, I don't think people should say, oh, I don't see color. They should be like, yes, I see that person over there is black, that person over there is Asian. And
I just don't discriminate them for the color of their skin. I won't discriminate them.
And, yeah. Like, that's how it should be looked at, instead of, oh, no, I see them as human. Yes, they are human, but they are also black or Asian or Indian. They are, like, humans of color.
Yeah.
They're not just human.
Yeah.
Everybody's human, but you also have color.
And it's time to celebrate those colors.
Yes. That's why there's that's why we did the Black History celebration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tell them a little bit about that, because you were the only one. Well, you and Jeremiah actually got to go.
Yeah, our school decided to do like this little contest thing for the celebration of Black History Month, where basically a group of people can each do something to show a person of color in history that's
influenced or
Yeah.
inspired them.
Yeah, we did Breonna Taylor. She was shot while she was sleeping.
Yeah.
And the person that won, or the female that won, she actually did a poem for the LGBTQ.
Yeah, I heard it. It was really good.
Yeah, I really liked hers, especially since people don't usually talk about like what not only gay people have done for the community, but gay Black people have done for the community. So I really liked hers.
Yeah, I liked hers too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was great. Anyway, the last one I'll talk about is white books. White people in books all the time.
Especially growing up.
Oh yeah. Growing up in early 2000s, we still didn't have books about Black people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And like growing up, I only read about animals or white people. So I never knew like I could relate to someone at all.
Yeah.
Like I always wanted to be Fancy Nancy or Gianni B. Jones whenever I was younger, but I couldn't be them because I wouldn't have a life like them.
Yeah. I think that I'm glad that they're starting to include more people of color in just media in general. Like I remember going to the mall and they had Black dolls there, but not just like normal Black dolls, like with textured hair.
Oh.
Like I've never seen that before. Like if they do have a Black doll, it either doesn't have hair or straight hair. So I'm glad that they're starting to include, textured hairs and stuff, so people can find a doll that actually looks like them and, be happy.
I remember whenever I was younger and I had like a Black doll that was like, it was like those mini American Girl dolls or something like that. And like she had light, like straight hair. And it was kind of like, she's kind of like me, I guess. But yeah.
I've never had that problem.
Must be great. I remember going to like the book fair last year, and I got like so excited to even see like a book where it talked about like, colored people or like had a colored main character. And it made me happy because I was like, wow, there's, Black people for children to read about. Like, finally.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I got the book for my niece.
Growing up, I only really saw like a couple people of color. Like we had we did have Mulan, Pocahontas, and that other character. I don't remember his name.
Tiana and
Tiana. I'm talking about the little bald kid. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember his name either. And Ni Hao Kai Lan.
Yeah. And that's all I really remember.
Yeah, but there was never much. Now we actually do get colored people, and it's just exciting.
Yeah. We're definitely going in a good direction for the most part.
Most definitely. So yeah, that's the best part.
Mm-hmm.
So now we can move on to your topic about the mask.
Texas is dumb. We did something stupid.
When do we not?
On Google, I looked it up and they said Texas no longer has a statewide mask mandate, but face coverings are still required in some businesses and public places. Businesses are also allowed to operate in full capacity as long as the hospitals in their region haven't been treated with a large share of patients for COVID-19. Here's why this is dumb. First off, not everybody's gonna listen to that.
No.
People
they still haven't been.
Yeah, people are going to just hear, oh, we're not allowed to wear masks, and think that they can just not wear masks everywhere they go, and that's going to make it more difficult for businesses, and especially small businesses. When people come in without a mask and they ask them to put one on, they're going to be like, well, actually, Texas isn't. We don't have to anymore.
The government said I don't have to.
Yeah, so it makes it harder for businesses to be able to justify the reason why they would need to wear masks. Not only that, but people are at risk of this. Like this, it's a pandemic. It's not just like a little cold flu, it's so much more. You can spread it to other people. That's why we wore masks, was to slow the spread of it. It's not meant to protect you necessarily, but to protect the people around you. So if we stop doing that, then a lot of people are gonna
get COVID suddenly.
Yeah.
And I think we'll see that more whenever the cases starts just whoop
Yeah.
all the way up.
Especially during spring break where people
yeah.
are going to be traveling. I don't understand. And like, we have the second highest cases in America. The first is Florida, which is really close to us.
It makes sense though.
Yeah. And just Monday we had 59 cases in Texas. And then for a 7-day average we have over 4,000 people getting COVID in a week.
It's not a matter of fact of if you survive COVID or if you don't get COVID. It's the fact that there are so many cases at all. Like, it's not okay. We don't need to have so many cases. Like, so many places like Australia and like
they're already over with.
Yeah. Like, they're walking around without masks because they don't have to.
Yeah.
They don't need masks anymore because they don't have COVID at all.
Yeah. And it's just like, just the worst timing possible. Like, not only we have the highest cases, but during spring break, I can't get that through my skull. What made them think that this was a good idea?
Obviously, it's just because, of course, the governor, of Texas is a white man who's just
Republican.
Yeah, he's a Republican white man who's just like, oh hey, I don't like wearing masks, so I'll make sure that all of my other white Republicans who don't like wearing masks don't have to wear masks anymore. That's exactly what it is.
It's just like, even if the cases like we're slowing down and stuff, that doesn't mean you get rid of it. We're doing good. We're making progress. This is part of the progress. Like, it's just,
yeah.
I think that was his excuse, is that we're finally starting to get better.
Yeah.
And that just made it worse. It's just gonna go up again, just like during Christmas and stuff, like when people were traveling. It's dumb.
I don't know why they like taking away this like mask mandates, or like being like, hey, you can wear your mask less if you just have, like if you don't have COVID or something. Or hey, you can wear your mask less over this spring or something. Like, it makes no sense.
Like, just, it's so dumb. Like, he did say that it's still, like, you still have to wear it in certain places.
Yeah.
But
like schools and stuff like that.
But people are not going to follow that all the time.
No.
People didn't even follow that before, but now that they have something to justify the reason that they're not following it, it's just going to make everything worse.
Yeah.
And he was like, he mentioned people should still follow the, like, social distancing, but then he allowed businesses to have full capacity. Yeah. How are they going to do that if we're, that's
literally just like our schools. There's like no longer ability to social distance whenever there's like 20 plus students in a classroom at once.
That was so dumb of our school. So basically our school did this thing where if you were failing last semester or had more than a certain amount of absences, you had to come back. That's such a small amount.
4 absences. I have 19 absences because of my teachers. Just they can't do attendance all the time.
Yeah. And it's just like, why? Why'd they make half the students come back? It's so dumb. Like, now we can't social distance. Yeah. I have so many classes where people are sitting all around me directly because we have no seats.
Literally, sometimes I get anxious from the fact that, like, there are, like, students from the right and left and behind me. And it's like, why? I know I might not be at risk of COVID, but what about my family? Yeah. What if you're at risk of getting COVID, or your family?
I'm not at risk of getting COVID, but my friends have families that are. Yeah. It's whack. It's dumb. Yeah.
And it also makes me kind of angry about the fact that they said you're not allowed to, you're not allowed to try and skip out on, being at school.
Yeah.
If you, don't have a actual thing that says, or a paper that says your family member or you yourself can get COVID and you are at risk.
Yeah.
That's dumb. What if you're just scared about the fact that,
you can spread it?
Yeah.
And even then, now, even normal healthy people can get COVID.
Yeah.
That's happened to so many students and stuff, And also another thing, they don't enforce any of the rules anymore, not just with social distancing, but with wearing masks. Like,
oh yeah,
kids are still supposed to wear masks and stuff in school, but now the punishment for it isn't as harsh as it used to be. Like, like at the beginning, if you took off your mask in class, you were sent home for a while.
Yeah, either the rest of the week or the remainder of the semester.
Yeah, now kids are taking off their masks and eating in class constantly. It's just, I don't know why they thought any of this was a good idea.
Yeah, they obviously wanted, like, I know they want the students to actually get an education and everything, and they want their students to, actually be participating in school and everything, but that's not, like, forcing them to come back is not going to make them actually do work.
Yeah. My grades are the same as before when I didn't go to in-person school,
Yeah.
And also, another thing that's really dumb with schools, they're still making us do STAR testing.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a bad year to do that, especially, like, okay, so I think it's bad because, one, it's not going to be, like, a proper representation of how we've learned or not, because we're going through a pandemic, not everybody's going to be able to go to school and get a proper education, and even then, when we do have to go to school, it's still not proper because we have so much people next to us, and we're worried about getting COVID, and it's just, it's so dumb. We have to do our, what's it called? Attendance every day. We have to do it. We've never had to do that before.
Yeah. So it's kind of, I hate doing attendance so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and, like, one thing they did say, like, one positive about, them deciding to do the STAR test is that if you pass those classes from last year, you don't have to do the STAR test for those classes this year. So say the algebra test or, like, the history test that we would have taken last year, we don't have to take those two this year. Or, other stuff. But, like, for me, myself, I know I passed last year, but this year, all I have to take is, like, the reading and whatever other test we have this year.
Yeah.
So, that's a positive, but I also know for a fact that it's not going to help me because I did not learn a lot because of the back and forth virtual, because Texas weather and COVID and everything.
Yeah.
It's not going to prove that, oh yeah, I'm a great student. In fact, like, my grades right now don't prove that I'm a great student. It just proves that I can get my work done.
Yeah.
And my teachers like me.
Yeah. And even before COVID and everything, STAR testing was dumb because
it really is.
It even, like I said, doesn't properly represent how well we learn, Some people are at a disadvantage. I'm at a disadvantage. I have dyslexia. It makes it difficult for me to read and stuff, so I have to be read too. And it's so dumb.
Yeah. So, yeah. Did you have anything else for your mask mandate?
Let me see. I think that's it.
Yeah. Well, Bob's Adventures.
Oh, yeah.
We'll go to a positive side of this podcast because this was a pretty serious podcast so far. So, Bob, what'd you do?
Nothing.
Well, Bob decided not to do anything because of the fact that COVID is a real thing and it's still going around and there's a such thing as mask, but sadly Bob doesn't have a mask, so why would he go out if he doesn't have one?
He doesn't even have a nose.
He doesn't even have lungs, so what's the point?
Yeah.
But Bob still doesn't want COVID, so he's staying inside while these stupid people go out and spread COVID.
Yeah. Love that for Bob.
Good job, Bob. You do you. Keep doing nothing at home until we can do something. And last but not least, tell me something good.
I didn't make the new recipe, but I decided to try out a new recipe that's popular on TikTok. The feta cheese, was that what it was called?
I have no idea.
Feta cheese thingy-mabob. And it was pretty good. It was very spicy. I had a lot of red pepper.
Oh. I saw it. It looks pretty good. I was like, oh man, Riley, cook for me. Yeah. Over the weekend, like starting Friday, me and Hope went and dog sat for some people.
Yeah.
The dogs were amazing. We got paid.
We love animals. I get to feed a fish this week.
And a turtle.
Yeah.
That you hate.
I don't like turtles, especially ones that hiss.
I don't think I've heard any turtles that we've seen hiss.
Blakely said hers hiss.
Oh. Well, I hope it hisses at you.
What? Why? Why do you want that pain on me?
Because there's no need to be scared of turtles.
I'm going to be scared of turtles.
Wow. Okay.
Those things are walking demons.
I'll let you be scared of turtles.
And I will gladly accept the fact that I'm scared of turtles.
Anyway, let's talk about our schedule. So, since we are teens, we don't really have a schedule that well, at least. But we're deciding on an actual schedule. Mm-hmm. Therefore, we will be videoing or recording our podcast on, say, Sunday or maybe earlier, depending on what's happening. Schedules. Yeah. And then we will go and post Wednesdays. Mm-hmm. That will be every other weekend. So we will only have about 2 podcasts up each week, or each month. Because that's the only amount of time we have. But we might end up, uploading stuff early, depending on how's our weeks and months looking.
Yeah.
So just be patient with us because we're trying to work really hard and we're doing our best. Yeah. We're still young. Let us have time. Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. Wait, but let's talk about social medias.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be making a TikTok sometime. We have no idea. But, yeah. Go follow us on Instagram at teen_enlightenment. You'll find us. You can follow Bob at Bob the Skeleton. He's pretty famous. Make him famous, too. Mm-hmm. He matters. Bob's life matters.
You can follow me on Instagram at 212RileyRue.
You should also follow her art. Blow that up. Because that's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
She's a great artist.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting that.
She needs to realize she's an amazing artist.
Oh, that's gay. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yes. You can also follow Teen Enlightenment on YouTube. Mm-hmm. I feel it might be just the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully. We're trying to make sure that we can, get it up, get our podcast out there. And if you could just help us by leaving a subscription or a like,
comment, share,
follow, do whatever. Just help us out a little bit. And we just love that.
Yeah. So, we love you.
Yes.
I hope you have an amazing day.
We hope you have a great week.
Now is that it?
Yeah. Thank you for joining us on Teen Enlightenment.
Adios.